Good evening, and welcome to Wild Words of Wisdom. Bonnie, how you doing in South Africa?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Dada. I cannot complain. I'm looking forward to the end of winter. It's spring in South Africa. Spring has sprung. We're loving the warmer weather. It's beautiful.
You see, here in the States, we're beginning to go into winter. It hasn't
Oh,
yet, it's still hot, but when you'll be enjoying the spring weather, we'll be enjoying the winter.
yes. I don't envy you guys. I'm looking forward to some spring. Even though maybe my sinuses and my allergies not so much, but it's nice to see all the flowers, flower up.
Okay, well, why don't you lead us in prayer before we start the show?
Okay, no, definitely. So Nini na Nini, great I am. We give you praise, we give you glory. We lift your name on high. We worship you, for you are holy. You are holy. You are holy. This evening we join the heavenly choir and we sing, You are holy. You are holy. You are holy, most high. So Nini na Nini, King of kings. We give you praise. We give you glory. We invite you into the stream tonight. Come and take your rightful place as the King, as the King of Kings, as the Lord of Lords. Take your rightful place in the stream. Let us decrease and let you increase in us. We ask all of this in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Oh man, we're going to have a wonderful show today, and we've been
Yes.
talking about the missing link, but we're going to show you and go deeper into the link itself and whether it is hidden for you or whether it is missing for you. But we're going to interview Sabello, who's one of the Zulu
Yeah.
dancers, and we kind of flipped the script a little bit. He interviewed me and had questions about America that I think you will find extremely interesting. So, not to
Mm.
waste any more time, let's go ahead and look at that video, and then we'll talk on the other side.
Definitely. See you on the other side.
Okay.
Enjoy.
I have taken over now. Welcome to Wow Words of Wisdom. I am Sabelo Kombe, and here I'm sitting with Johnny. Okay? So, Johnny, I just need to ask you a couple of questions, just simple questions. I need to know. I would like to know how is life in the state, how you guys are being treated, like as a black man. How do you survive? How do you engage all these social problems that you encounter every day, like police? Because I've seen some videos on social medias where policemen are just are practicing something that is against their payroll, or I don't know whether you say payroll, but what they are doing is what do you call this thing? They are they are acting as if they are above the law. So how do you cooperate on these things? How's life?
What you're asking is all the shootings,
All the shooting,
police shootings of black men.
Yes.
I can compare it like this. We started our journey here on the tour from Johannesburg.
Yes.
And then we got off the plane and we did a road trip.
Road trip.
Went from Johannesburg to Soweto. From
Soweto,
Soweto
yes. That's a
to
township.
yes, and visited Mandela, and visited the museum, and from there, a couple of days we ended up here now. And so, and and driving and seeing the country and seeing the roadside country, I began to ask myself that very same question. And what I've concluded is maybe similar for you to understand. You know, when you go into the bush, or when people go out into the, do you call it the bush?
Yeah, we call the bush, or we call the jungle.
The jungle.
Yes.
And you go out to hunt.
Forest.
And yeah, the forest, and you go out and hunt. You may have 200 or 300 men that will go hunt.
Yeah.
And then never have an incident. And then maybe that one day, someone would you would find out that someone was hurt, was mangled by an animal.
Okay.
It's the same situation there in the United States. It's not a bad situation. It is bad, don't get me wrong, it's very bad. But it's a situation where it doesn't stop us from doing what we need to do. It doesn't stop us from going out to work. It doesn't stop us from going out to enjoy ourselves. It doesn't stop us from going out to do things with our families. But it does create a caution for us because of the fact of the camera, the video, and the and YouTube and podcast. Those things has happened for years, but because people are able to film it and show it,
Yeah.
it brings a reality that we wasn't aware of. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So, as you guys have visited South Africa, uh, do you think, or is there any chances that you wish to come back to Africa just to relocate for real this time, like staying in Africa with your family, raising your family, raising your grandchildren if you have one? Because it's a free country.
Yeah, you are.
It's a free continent because you are a black man.
Yeah.
This is where you belong. So that is why I'm asking the question.
You know what? I feel that question runs deeper than what you're asking. I feel that you are saying to me, come, you're welcome.
You are welcome.
We want you to come. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course.
That's one reason why I planned this trip, is because of the fact I've always had that desire to want to come here,
Come on.
to come home.
Yeah.
And because of the lack of communication,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I did not know until I came here that not only you, but people in Johannesburg, people in Soweto, all the people I have traveled while here, we've traveled road trips over 3,000 miles. And the common denominator among all the different tribes and all the different provinces, come home.
Come on.
And that
Come on.
that really touches me,
Come on.
because of the fact that I see the vastness and I see that there are things that you can offer me as a black American, and there are things that I can offer you as a black American, the things you can offer me as being a Zulu prince. that we could put our black minds together and we can do some awesome things.
Yeah. So, one last question. Just one last question. Do you think is it a good idea to raise a boy? Just listen to me carefully. Is it a good idea?
You sure you want to ask me this question?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go ahead. Look into the camera and ask.
Okay. Is it a good idea? I'm even asking those at home, who are sitting and watching this podcast. Is it a good idea to raise a boy to become a man in United States of America?
Yes and no.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Which means you are in between.
No. There are
Which is why-
conditions. There are conditions for me saying yes, and there are conditions for me saying no.
Okay, let's start with the yes.
Start with the yes.
Yes.
Yes, it can be a good. It's a good situation for a black man to raise a black son in the United States.
Okay, I'm listening.
Now, I'm pretty sure the next part two to that question is how.
I'm getting there.
Well, go ahead. I'm gonna wait until you
Okay,
ask. Me.
how? Okay, how?
I will answer this question this way. It doesn't matter where you are.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where you come from. But there are three important things that I have discovered in my life. First of all, you have to be truthful with yourself.
Truthful.
It begins with being truthful with yourself. The second thing is you have to know where you come from.
Okay.
And the third thing is that you have to have morals and values that are reflective of your truth and where you want to go.
Okay.
So, back in the days, apartheid was really bad here in South Africa.
Yeah. That's right.
But and those were conditions that you had to deal with. Those were conditions that the Zulu nation had to deal with. But this Zulu nation and its village is one of few
Yeah.
villages in South Africa that has self-sustained itself in spite of all the stuff that has gone through. And one reason why you have sustained yourself, I have deduced and I have concluded, is because one, you're truthful to yourself.
Yes.
Two, you know who you are.
Yeah.
And three, you know your history.
Like, really.
So you survived here, and black men in America can survive there if they know those three things. If you don't, well then yeah, you'll have some problems. More so.
So, I do understand, but I just want to say something because right now I was asking you questions, and then, but I feel like I should say something on that. I've never been in States, but what I've seen in videos, it's painful. It's embarrassing. I don't know. I don't have a word for what I've seen. What
Let's
they-
get a closer look
Yes,
on here.
I like I don't have a word that can fit like exactly what they are doing to black men or black people. So for me, one day I would like to. I would just love to hear the news that all black men they are coming back to Africa.
Make
Even
that
in
appeal.
Europe.
Talking to the camera.
Yeah, even in Europe itself, even in Europe, if they can all come back, because this when you look at the world like a globe, when you look at the globe, like the map of the world, I don't know who drew that map, but they make sure that these continents, we have Australia, we have Asia, Europe, we have Northern South of America, and then Africa. But all these continents, they are very big. But this one continent that is called Africa, it's in a small size, which is not like the truth, or which is not a good calculation when they are doing those calculations. And then there's a guy that I'm following on Instagram. He's revealing all those things. it shows that, and the calculations recently, they shows that Africa itself, it's one of the biggest continent in the world.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest.
Yes.
So there's a plenty land here. If they can come back, they'll be welcome. We will stay. We will go fishing. There are fishes here in this river. It's a free food. You understand that? You understand the term free food? You understand that? Free food, my man. That's why we are not starving. I don't understand that when I see some videos, some people in overseas, when they talk about Africa, they like, when they think of Africa, they think like of a jungle or a forest. You know what I'm saying? This is no Amazon forest. No, no, no. This is not Amazon forest. This is Africa. This is land. There are people here who are living here. There are houses. We have cities. If you've been in Johannesburg, you saw that it's a city. You know, it's a city that has these big buildings and even hotels and these big buildings.
But you know, when I move here, I don't want to move in the city. I want to live in a setting just
Yeah,
like this.
just like me. I like it here because it's peace and quiet. You know, when it's peace in city, there's so many. It's busy.
But brother, this is the beginning, and the beginning is knowledge. And if it's His will,
Yes.
this broadcast will shed some light on some people, and I promise you, in the near future, we will present some situations or some opportunities for you, so you can come to Africa.
Yes.
I'm your host. Can I take my host back? Can
Yeah,
I take it
you
back?
can take your crown back. You can take your crown back or your throne back.
I'm the host now.
I know.
Johnny Bryant with Wow Words of Wisdom.
Yes.
Stay tuned for the next segment.
Well, buddy, what did you think?
I loved it. I love that you were put in the hot seat for a change, that Johnny. I love.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
it felt kind of funny to be on the receiving end of questions, but he brought in a lot of insight. And what was so ironic about this? We filmed that back in, what was it, in August?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
some-
Yes.
and unbeknowing to me that the near the end of the show, when I stated that we're going to come with you with an opportunity, and this is the surprise that we have. We do have an opportunity for you, my viewing guest,
Yeah.
and this is brought to you by B Square, uh, uh, under the hard work of Wild Words of Wisdom. They are doing this
Yes.
for Wild Words of Wisdom, B Square Touring Agency. So we have going to South Africa, going to Africa and having the opportunity and ability to meet you and to meet Bunzi, meet all the wonderful people that I've met. Tell us about what we have to offer, what B Square has to offer.
Well, B squared has to. I think maybe let's start at the heart of B squared. What our mission is in this company is to connect the people of the land that are scattered all over the world to the land. That's why we've structured our trips the way we've structured them. You'll attest that to Johnny. There's a lot of traveling. Over 2,000 kilometers. And we go from place to place. What we want to do, and what we aim to do as B squared, is show your viewing audience as much of South Africa as we can in 2 weeks. South Africa has 9 provinces. We travel across 4 of the 9, and we try to incorporate as many different cultures. To give you an example, South Africa's got 11 official languages. So there's lots of different languages, lots of different cultures, all in South Africa. So we try to go to different villages. And I'm sure you saw that, Johnny, that when we were in the Zulu village, it was a little bit different to the Xhosa village that we were in and the Bondo village, So we try to show you as much of South Africa as we can. We go to tropical regions and then we go to very dry regions, and there's people who speak different languages. I remember last week you were asking me, Dadu Johnny, what are the Zulu singers singing? And I was like, I don't know, I'm Xhosa. I'm not quite sure what they what's the meaning of what they're singing. So that's how diverse South Africa is, and that's we want to give your viewing audience a glimpse of how diverse South Africa is, and just for them to just feel part of this country and just immerse them in the culture, in the people.
Now, I want to share this with my viewing audience as well. Um, and we're going to talk about how much this was cost. And you will see that the cost that B Square has created and has engineered is not a cost that's going to cause them to get rich quick. If you go and check other tours and other touring agencies that provide tours in South Africa, you will find that their cost is astronomical. It's very expensive. But to verify the statement that she made and the mission that B Square has, they want to bring people from the United States, Europe, all over the world that has uh, that has a link, has that missing link to Africa, and want to bring them to Africa so they can see for themselves and figure out what that missing link is for them. So let's talk about the pricing. We have two packages. And
Yeah.
what are those two packages?
Okay, let me start with the lesser one. So, you went on this ultimate South African road trip, Dr. Johnny. So which is slightly more expensive. So we decided to also offer a slightly cheaper package, which is a provincial tour. Now, the provincial tour, unlike in this ultimate South African road trip where we go to 4 provinces, we just stay in one province, which is Mpumalanga, but we see the length and the breadth of Mpumalanga. What happens is that you arrive in Johannesburg at OR Tambo International Airport. We pick you guys up there, uh, and then we travel to to Middleburg, where we will visit a Ndebele village and be with the Ndebele speaking people and be immersed in the Ndebele culture. And then from there, we go to Hazy View, where we were at, Dr. Johnny. We stay there for a couple of days. We go to the Kruger National Park to see the animals, which is the big five, which is the rhino, the elephant, the lion, the and then we see the wonders, which was in the first 2 episodes of Wow Words of Wisdom. So we see the wonders, which is the potholes, the 3 rendezvous, and all of that. Okay, yes, this is the Ndebele people. Watubanzi has posted here. So we'll visit a village like this, where we immersed in the beautiful, beautiful Ndebele people who are very bright and very vibrant people. And then we will also in Bumalanga. They have the oldest caves in the world, the Sudwala caves. So we'll also go visit those caves, So that's the provincial one. And that one is 1,500 South American dollars. That trip is 7 days. It's 5 days of activities and 2 days of travel. Actually, a day and a half of travel. So you'll be in South Africa for 7 days, and on the afternoon of that 7th day, you'll be at OR. We'll take you back to OR Tambo, and then you can fly back to wherever you're from. And then we have the South African Ultimate Road Trip, which is the big one. This is the one that Johnny went to. That one, we start in Johannesburg. We pick you up from the airport at OR Tambo. We go to the Cradle of Humankind, which is just an experience on its own. This is South Africa, is where we find you find the oldest fossils. So there's proof that humankind started in South Africa. So we visit the Cradle of Humankind, with the museum there, and then from there we have lunch in Soweto, and then we drive to Mpumalanga. We go to Mpumalanga. We get to Mpumalanga very very in the evening, very late in the evening. And then in Pumalanga, we have a very beautiful forest lodge that we stay at there, which is very comfortable. There's no TVs. That John was saying that yeah, he didn't watch TV the whole time he was on this trip, which is
No,
actually
I
done by design. Yes, that is done by design. That we don't, we want you to be immersed in the culture. So we stay in the middle of the forest in Pumalanga. In the Pumalanga, that's where we see the animals, the big five. We see the God's window. We see the potholes. We stayed there for about 3 days, and then we traveled to KZN, where we are at now in Wow Words of Wisdom, where we stay in KZN and we visit the Zulu village, and we get immersed in the Zulu culture. And then from KwaZulu Natal, we travel to Lusikisiki, which is the land of the Mbondos. Lusikisiki is in between the land of the Zulus and the land of the Xhosas. Lusikisiki is right in the middle. So we spend a day, like a couple of days there in the village. There's hiking there for those who can do the hike. Dr. Johnny, would
Oh,
you do
hold
the
up
hike
about
again?
is that where I went that 17-kilometer hike up in the mountains?
Yes, the 17-kilometer hike. Yes.
That's about 14 miles. Yeah, that was exciting.
Yes, yeah. So we hike to waterfalls, and you see waterfalls, and you see the ocean, and then you hike back, and so there we really in Lusikisiki we actually stay in the village for quite a while, And what's special about Lusikisiki is that we don't stay in a hotel or in a lodge. We stay in someone's actual house, in a Bantu family, in a family's house, and they cook for us. They do our laundry. The women do some beading. We sit around the fire. We're literally immersed in the culture of living in a village in South Africa. We are villagers. I loved it there because you wake up in the morning, you sit in the patio with a cup of coffee, and you just look at the village and see the kids go to school, see the cattle get let out to go graze. So we want to immerse in that culture. And then our second last stop from Lusikisiki, we go to Port St. John's. And in Port St. John's, we stay in a beach house there. And Port St. John's is also very beautiful. We get to experience the ocean. We get to
The
experience
Indian
very beautiful.
the Indian
Excuse
Ocean.
me.
The Indian,
Yes, the Indian Ocean.
yeah.
Yes, we get to stay on the Indian Ocean. It's Port St. John's is a very tropical place. So there you experience the village was a bit dry, very mountainous, and then we go to Port St. John's, which is very green and very tropical. It's almost like you're in Brazil. It's very, very, very tropical. The Port St. John's. We stay there. Stayed on a beach house with beautiful beach views, and
Oh, but let me tell you about the beach house. We were out.
yes,
We were out on the deck, and I was feeling things falling on my head, and I didn't know what it was until I looked up, and there were about a family of monkeys up in the tree playing above us because the balcony was submerged over a cliff. The beach was less than 100 yards from the beach house. I mean, beautiful, beautiful. Tell them about
yes,
the accommodations, a little bit about the accommodations. I mean, we went from 4-star hotels to bread and baths and to the village. The
yes.
accommodations
The,
were phenomenal.
Yes. And we tried to. I remember when the first day we stayed in Santon, and I could see that everyone was like, "We didn't come to South Africa to stay, in like a 4-star hotel." And what did we say? That this is only the beginning. We want to ease you in. And
And
by
you
halfway
eased
through the
me
trip,
in.
you were. And by halfway through the trip, the women were sleeping on the floor in a rendezvous, immersed in village life. So we try to, because we want, you can't, when you're going to come to Africa, I want you to live the way the people in the villages live. So we want to immerse and bring that, into it. And then, like, we'll stay in a village and then go stay in a slightly more comfortable place where, you have the amenities like an aircon and all of that stuff.
Oh,
So
we had
yeah, and
else that would come and accommodate us to tell us how we want our breakfast to be cooked. I mean, it was beautiful.
yes, and what also as B squared, what we strive to do is that we want to empower Black entrepreneurs. So that's why we actually stayed in the village and we empowered that little family. They were so excited and so happy to have us, and they were like, "Thank you for providing bread to our family because they now could have they could let out their house, and we could bring revenue." And also another thing, while we were there, we were like, "Oh, well, tell the ladies that do beading and that do crafts to come and sell their crafts to our guests." And that is also of a way of actually igniting the economy of the village, because it's very important that in Africa, that we ignite the economy of in the village and the economy in the township, because that is where most Black people stay. They stay in villages and they stay in townships, and so that we can have a good standard of living, we need to ignite and move that economy and bring money into the village and into the township. And that's something that as B squared we work very hard into bringing it in. And that's when we're designing our trips, we also have that in mind.
Okay, now I want the audience to look at the itinerary. We have two itineraries. The one itinerary will be in February, and the second will be at the end of May. The
Yes.
in February will be the premium, or which is which?
In February we'll have the provincial one, which is the smaller one, and then end of May we'll have the ultimate road trip, which is the one that you were in, Dr. Johnny, and the one that we're going through now, as in Wow Words of Wisdom.
Okay, so where can the viewing audience go to see this information and get the itinerary?
And they can visit us in our website. Our Facebook page. It will be posted in the what you call it, in the live chat. They can visit us at B Squared on Facebook, and they can just search B Squared Travel and Tours, and they'll find us there.
Okay, you can also go into my Facebook page,
Yes,
and you have the contact information for them in South Africa, but you can also use me as a contact also. And then in the near future, next week, we're going to talk about the details. We're going to make this so easy. But let me tell you what I did. You've heard of Qatar Airlines. You know how beautiful
yes,
the customer
yes.
has been ranked as the number one customer service for airlines. Well, I went on their webpage and discovered that we can get a real good package to fly round trip from the States, from DFW to Johannesburg, for $1,100 round trip.
Round trip.
So I'm telling you, I talked to B Squared, and if they do, they will accommodate more than 10 people, but the ideal
Yes.
thing are 10 people, because they want that closeness and that spiritual
Mm,
intimacy that you can receive for 10. But if more than 10 would be interested, we would be glad, they would be glad to accommodate. But be sure to
definitely.
look at this package, and I guarantee you the hidden link that I was wondering about all my life, I discovered it and found it. It's not hidden
Mm,
anymore for me. And
mm.
so look on, stay tuned. And Bunsy, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. The
Bunsy,
background. Let me see if I
what is the
can.
show going to be about next week?
Sorry.
What is the show going to be about next week?
Oh, okay. Next week we are in Lusikisiki. We'll probably go through the hike, that 14-mile hike that you went through.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's what probably we'll have. The interview with your guide. That's what's coming
Okay,
up.
that sounds good. So I told you that I had a surprise for you. This is a surprise I had for you. I talked about going to South Africa. I talked about the experience. But why should I talk about something and not give you, my
Mm.
viewing audience, who I love so much, an opportunity to experience what I experienced? So check out that link. And also you can inbox me and let's talk about this opportunity where it is the most inexpensive road trip, but it gives premium service. I mean, the hotels, the bed and baths, and the condos and the beach houses we lived in were second to none. I'm your host, Johnny Bryant, with words of wisdom. Wow, Bonnie, I'm gonna let you end the broadcast for this.
And I'm Bonavile Kali, aka Bunny. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week in Lusikisiki, Eastern Cape, South Africa.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.